What is up, people? It is me, Monster58. Welcome back to another video review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the SH Figuarts Nail, otherwise known as Piccolo's brother, not brother, that he ends up fusing with in the actual show. And the major, obviously, appearance for Nail is going to be in the Frieza saga, when he not only helps, Goku and Krillin and Gohan actually, meet the Grand Elder and whatnot, but also holds off First Form Frieza as well for at least a minimal amount of time, but a significant amount of time enough to where they were able to actually, get advantages off that. But take a look at the box here. You can see the very nice product shot there of Nail right there. Very stoic, very, emotionless motionless expression. You can see the SH Figuarts nail right there. You can also see the nail there as well. More here on the side. More nice product shots here on the side of nail as well. And then here are your obligatory product shots, which looks really, really good. I'm going to tell you guys, this is a really, really good figure, and for me, this is a character that I definitely would have really wanted in my collection, because I feel like when you have Dende, you should have Nail too, and because of how important of a character he is in terms of just like progressing the story and everything like that. Sure, he didn't appear in more than maybe I don't know, maybe like 10 episodes or so, but at the end of the day, he was of vital importance to the battle with Frieza at the end of the day, and so really, really cool stuff all around, and so I'm really excited to get my hands on this guy. So when it comes to the box, I think they did an absolute fantastic job, and so, folks, without further ado, alrighty, folks, here we have the SH Figuarts Nail out of the box, and I gotta say, guys, this guy is really, really good. He comes with a lot of stuff, you'll see. He's very nicely sculpted, very nicely articulated, and sure, the paint maybe isn't necessarily the most, detailed or anything like that. It doesn't have any crazy shading or anything like that. But at the end of the day, this figure does what it needs to do and represents the character of Nail absolutely beautifully. So taking a look at the head sculpt here, you can see the head sculpt looks really, really nice. Again, very stoic expression. The head sculpt looks really good. You can see obviously the antennae look nice here as well. But be careful with these. These little antennae tend to come off sometimes if you knock them too hard. It's not that they're on there loosely, but I had one of these come off when I was like messing around with like swapping out the heads that he has. You can see the very nice detail throughout. We're gonna change his arms here just so that you can actually see his arms and his hands. He has the pink Namekian like appendages obviously on his arms and on his abs and everything like that. Unlike the manga, which has yellow. And unlike in Dragon Ball Super Superhero. But looks really, really good. You can see some very nice detailing across the board. Very standard SH Figuarts, but this guy's very, very clean. And I do like his, I guess this would be closer to like a vest or something like that. But overall, he does look nice. He obviously has the classic Namekian shoes that we are all used to. But yeah, he looks really, really solid. So what we're going to actually do is I'm actually going to show you also what he looks like without the gi or the vest on or whatever this is called. So to do that, what I do is you remove the arms, like so, from the biceps. Then all you have to do is remove the head, and then the head just flung off in a different direction on the floor. But there we go, we got it back. Set the head off to the side, and all you have to do is just pull this off very carefully, but I like to, just do it. You just gotta do it very carefully. Sometimes you have to force it just a little bit, not too crazily, but you do have to force it just a little bit. And then there, you can remove this and set this off to the side now. And then to get him back, you do get an extra accessory, which is his, which I'll show here in a second, which is just his, I guess it would be like a scarf or something like that. It'd be considered that, or just like a neck dress. And then you just do that, plug that in like so. Then you can take his arms and plug them back. And the reason I'm showing you this now is because obviously part of this figure's appeal is the fact that he also can be displayed without his clothes on because, well, his vest on, not his clothes, but his vest on. I'm not trying to get demonetized here. But yeah, I'm not even monetized to begin with, but regardless, you get my joke. Regardless, obviously being able to show Nail with, out his vest or his gi or whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, this is an iconic look for him because this is what he does when he ends up fighting First Form Frieza. So he looks really, really solid. What I will say is it does look a little awkward with the way that they kind of split his shoulders, like right here. This does look a bit funky, but for the most part, I think they did a pretty good job, especially with the joints that they were able to implement. He does have some nice musculature there on the back as well. So overall, when it comes to the looks department, even with the vest off, he does look really, really nice. And so I have no major complaints with his look. Sure, he looks like Piccolo, but then the show they make the joke like that already. Like, as soon as they see Nail, Gohan like mistakes him for Piccolo, and same thing for Krillin. So at the end of the day, despite the fact that he does look a lot like Piccolo, I mean, well, he's a Namekian, and they all look very similar. Obviously, there was different Namekians, right? We had buffer ones, bigger ones, taller ones, fatter ones, shorter ones, chubbier ones, right? At the end of the day, but especially when you have sort of the body type that Piccolo and Nail have, I mean, they look almost exactly alike. So there's obviously very subtle differences between Nail and Piccolo, but at the end of the day, there's a reason that he was mistaken for Piccolo a couple times in the show. So what we're going to do is we're going to do size comparisons. So we're going to set this guy off to the side here. All right, first comparison. Here he is with the Transformers Legacy United and Furnac Universe Deluxe Class Magnus. As you can see, he's a bit taller than an average deluxe size Transformer, and so at the end of the day, in my opinion, the size works, and you'll see that when we bring in the next thing. Alrighty, folks, and here he is with the SH Figuarts Proud Warrior Namekian Piccolo. And so at the end of the day, this is a really nice size. What I will say, a difference between these two is that Nail is certainly a little darker. You can definitely see that on the camera. I can absolutely see that looking at my phone screen right now, that Nail is absolutely a bit darker, but they do look very closely related to one another, and in addition to that, they are about pretty much the same exact height as one another. The only figure I'm not able to bring in to compare with you guys, which is a bit of a shame, is First Form Frieza. I do have the First Form Frieza, but unfortunately I have him displayed in his pod, and the accessories are buried in storage. Like, for any accessories I don't use on the display, I tend to bury them in storage so that I don't, they don't take up space that they don't need to. And so at the end of the day, I will not be able to show that to you guys. But if you do have the Proud Warrior Namekian Piccolo figure, and you have the First Form Frieza figure, you will know exactly how big he is in comparison. And I think when it comes to the size, he might be a tad short in all reality, but regardless, I still think that it's a solid size. He's significantly taller than Frieza. I think Frieza would come up to about like here or so, and that's about the correct size, especially when you look at the scene when Nail tries to hit him with a key blast right into his face. He shrugs it off, and then he moves in front of Nail and then elbows him in the gut. And then Nail like falls and slumps over Frieza's chest and stuff like that. So falls and slumps over Frieza's arm as he holds him up, right? So when it comes to the size, I have no complaints, especially because he is the exact same size as Piccolo, which he should be. Alrighty, folks, and now it's time to go over the accessories that he comes with. And he comes with a fair bit. Obviously, you saw the extra neck, scarf piece that he has on him right now. And then you can also notice that he has, obviously, the vest that he comes with. But the other accessories, he comes with 4 separate heads, 3 separate pairs of hands, well, 4 technically if you include the fists on him right now. And then you actually get an extra piece that is supposed to replicate when the Namekians will regenerate, and also the scene where Nail regenerates his arm after Frieza rips it off. Or at least his forearm when Frieza rips it off from essentially the elbow down. So, we're taking a look at the heads, though. They look really, really good. So, the first one I'm going to take a look at is this one where he's obviously getting absolutely rocked, and he got rocked. This is essentially the face that he has when Piccolo shows up and fuses with him, and when he's lying on the ground after Frieza absolutely destroyed him in that fight. But looks really, really good. I mean, you can see the nice purple where his obviously because Namekians have purple blood, so you can see the nice blood stain there. You can see the eye, the one eye closed. Everything really. Actually, let me see if we can focus that. I thought we were focused. You can see that all looks really, really nice. Very nice for them to add this. You then have a more gritting teeth, very traditional Dragon Ball face. He has little veins on top of his head, obviously to simulate his anger or his power of charging up and everything like that. You can use this for multiple things, and I really like that. And then you also get this screaming face, where he's looking like this. This can either be used obviously as like a pain face, or it can be used as just like another general face. I'm going to be using this, as you'll see in the picture, where you can recreate the pose that he uses when he hits Frieza in the face with that Ki Blast attack. So this looks really, really good. And then you also get the more hurt face. So this is like when he gets, I believe this is when he gets, isn't this when he gets elbowed? Right, I think this is when he gets elbowed in the gut, and then he falls on top of Frieza's arm as Frieza holds him up. So I think this is that face that he makes when he gets elbowed in the gut. So it looks really, really good, though. Again, the sculpt looks really nice. You can see the paint looks really good. All around, really, really well done. And then from here, you get the 3 pairs of hands, so you get the more sort of traditional, like, open grip hands, excuse me. These hands tend to be like, fighting pose hands, or other hands, that you're winding up for a punch. Then you have the traditional Ki Blast hands. These look really, really good as well. Very, very nice. I'm very happy with these. Nothing to complain about with these. The nails look good as well. Haha, the nails look good as well. Haha, hee hee, haha, hee hee. And then you also get these sort of like chop or like other Ki Blast hands. I tend to use these for chopping or Ki Blasting. Either or works, but these are really nice too as well. You can see they do look very nice. And then you also get the Namekian arm, the one when he, after Frieza rips it off, he then has a scene obviously where he regenerates his arm, and this is what it looks like. It's supposed to simulate, you can see it's more transparent plastic to simulate the goo and everything that comes off of them when they, you know, when the Namekians actually regenerate a limb. So to do the replacement, I'll show you how to change all these out real quick. So to replace a head, you can just remove it like I did earlier, and then you can take the, let's just say this face, and then you can plug that in very easily like so on that ball joint. So it looks really, really good in that respect. And then what you can do, we just remove that, and then we can put the other head back on. Now to do the arm, very simple. You just remove the forearm here. Takes a little bit of doing like that, and then we will take the arm and then we will just plug it in like so. Now this doesn't sit the best for me, so at the end of the day I kind of leave it like this because you can see it very easily comes off, but for the most part it still does look really, really good. I mean, you will see this more used in the pictures because I will absolutely have a picture where I pose him like he did when he regenerated his arm after Frieza ripped it off, but it does look really, really cool, and I like that they added this as an accessory. I think that's very, very cool. So from there, to change his you can just plug this back in like so. To change any of his hands, you just remove them from the ball joints here, and then you can take, let's just, for example, take the open grip hands, and then you can just plug these in like so. Very simply, and then obviously there, now you have him with a new hand, and then you can do that for the other side as well. So just remove this, and then we can put the fist back on. But when it comes to the accessories, this guy actually comes with a fair bit, and I'm really, really happy because that's nice for a figure like this. What I will say, the one accessory I would not have minded him to come with is essentially maybe like another Frieza accessory. I don't know. I feel like that there could have been an extra for like that, considering, you know, that's the scene that they're in. I would have liked, for example, like a blast effect part for when he hits Frieza in the face with that Ki Blast attack. It would have been cool to have something like that, or to have another one of these would be nice to have. I know it wasn't accurate to how it happened in the actual show, but still would have been nice to have something like that. So overall, when it comes to the accessories, he comes with a nice slew of them: 4 heads, 3 pairs of hands, an extra arm, and then he comes with obviously the vest as well. Can't really complain with the accessories this guy comes with. I think they're honestly pretty solid. Also, by the way, folks, I apologize before we get into the articulation, which we'll get into here. I had the neck, you know, scarf on wrong the entire time. It should be more where this part droops forward is where it should be, so that obviously you can see his face. So I apologize for that. I probably put that in text on the video already, but I just wanted to point that out. But the articulation, it's pretty solid. It's average SH Figuarts, so I have no complaints there. You obviously get more articulation without this vest on, so I'm going to show it as it is here. So you're going to have a ball joint at the head, both at the base of the neck and at the top of the neck. So you can do this. You can do your wiggle waggle as well. You can do a full 360, but obviously it's a little bit inhibited by the actual scarf itself. You have butterfly joints here in the shoulders. They go up, they go down. They more than 90 at the elbow as well. Rotation of the upper part of the bicep, and then you obviously have ball jointed wrists. You do have nice waist articulation and ab crunch as well. So you can go pretty far forward, pretty far back. So pretty far forward like that, pretty far back like this. And then you have waist articulation, like I said. You can kick forward about that far, back about that far, about 90, a little more than 90 actually at the knee like that. You can see that. Rotation at the upper part of the thigh, and then you do have ball jointed ankles, and then you do have toe articulation as well. So overall, when it comes to posing, I'll say this, there's no issue with this guy posing at all. You can get into pretty much any pose that you really, really would like him to get into. The only thing I would obviously be concerned about is the fact that you would probably want his vest off if you want him to get into those really nice dynamic poses, because at the end of the day, even though you don't have the best articulation when he has the vest on, most of his articulation would be best savored for when he doesn't have his vest on, right? Because all those poses make sense without the gi on. So at the end of the day, when it comes to the articulation, I have no major issues with it whatsoever. And so guys, for my final and concluding thoughts on the SH Figuarts Nail from the Frieza Saga from Dragon Ball Z, this guy's a really, really solid figure. There really isn't that much wrong with this figure at the end of the day. There's only a few issues I would say. First off, I'd say the way that they cut the chest does look a bit weird, but you do get butterfly joints and you do get some nice articulation regardless. In addition to that, I will say that another issue I will have is that the gi definitely hampers some of the articulation in his like regular, you know, with his gi on. But at the end end of it, I was gonna say regular mode, but that doesn't make any sense here because there's no regular mode. But regardless, it does hamper his articulation a little bit at the end of the day, but it's really not that egregious. So you can still bend his arms and bend his legs for the most part. It's just sometimes with the legs, you obviously run into the actual gi or vest itself. And the other thing that I'll say is that it just doesn't do anything amazing. But what I will say is what it does very nicely. First off, he represents the character beautifully, both visually when it comes to with his gi on or his vest on, and also with his vest off. Again, the only issue, like I said earlier, is the way that they might have cut the chest, but really, really nice there. Very nice detail, very nice paint. Sure, nothing crazy when it comes to the paint, but it does exactly what it needs to do. Same thing for the articulation. Although not amazing or anything like that, you can get this guy into pretty much any pose, because SH Figuarts, that you would really wish that he could get into, and he will get into that pose, especially when it comes to the ones that are representative of the ones that, are most iconic in the show. And finally, I also think that it's really nicely comes with a nice slew of accessories. 4 different options for heads, well, technically 5 if you include the one that's on them, all with really nice expressions. I would have liked maybe a smile, because he does smile at the end when Piccolo ends up fusing with them, before he, ends up technically dying but not dying. He comes with 3 pairs of hands, all of which are very applicable. He comes with his extra arm piece, which is always really nice, to represent when he will regenerates his arm after Frieza rips off the forearm, and then obviously he comes with his vest as well. So there's a lot of display options, there's a lot of nicely sculpted and nicely painted accessories, and so at the end of the day, I'm going to give this figure about a 9 out of 10. You could go argue about 8, but I consider 9 because at the end of the day, there really isn't anything that this figure does in particularly wrong. He doesn't feel loose. I don't think he's overly hampered in his articulation. The paint doesn't look bad at all. It's pretty well done overall. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. I would recommend picking this guy up. Sure, he might be a tad bit pricey, but at the end of the day, I honestly think that he is worth the money that you pay for him. He's a really, really solid release. I did pick mine up on Premium Bandai, so I'll leave the link down below, but don't really expect anything to come of it because the pre-order window's passed, the charging window has lapsed, and so these have already shipped out a long time ago, and so I wouldn't expect it, but I'll still leave the link just out of habit. In addition to that, I will try to find other retailers online that sell this guy, but if I can't find much, I probably won't leave any more links, and so your best bet at the end of the day is to hunt IRL, and the best way to hunt IRL for this guy, looking at your local hobby shops or toy stores or stuff like that sell figures like this and hope that they get this in, or ask them about it, something like that. So if you do hunt IRL, I definitely wish you the best of luck in doing that because this guy will be a bit harder to find than most, but overall he is still a really solid figure that I would recommend picking up. And so that's really it for the review. So I thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends, and also follow me on the socials. Those will be linked in the description below. And with that, guys, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video review, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.